Today's video is another sit down video, and this one is another really hot topic that I always get questions asked about. And when I get them in my DMs, I actually just put them all down in my notepad on my phone, and I'm like, okay, I'll definitely do a video on this. So I'm kind of like catching up on everything right now. And this video is going to be all about how to travel with the baby. I get this question asked so many times, and I know when we got to our traveling days with Riley, I went to a lot of you guys, and you guys helped me out a ton too. So I just want to kind of put everything in this video of like how to travel with a baby on an airplane, how to travel with a baby in a car. I've only traveled in a car, but I've had a lot of friends travel with babies on an airplane. So I've kind of put some of their suggestions in here to kind of help you guys from their experiences. So there's definitely going to be like a mix of stuff in here that will hopefully help you guys and what I've learned along the way too, especially with the long drives, because we did a long drive to Monterey and that one was like 7 hours in a car, I believe. Oh my goodness. Like right now, there's no way I could do a long drive with Riley for longer than 30 minutes or an hour at her age right now. She's like 14 months old. There's just no way. I would have to, it would all come down to timing for that, but we'll kind of go more into that in here in a little bit. But if you guys are brand new to my channel, hello, welcome. We are doing vlogmas over on this channel, so definitely hit that subscribe button. And also if you really love these sit down mommy videos, also make sure to hit that subscribe button for these as well. Feel free to turn on the notification bell if you have your notifications turned on. You have to make sure you have them turned on through your app, and then you can select if you want notifications every once in a while or if you want them all the time for my videos. So if you guys want to do that, you can click the little bell and have that all set up. I also want to let you guys know that a portion of this video will be sponsored by Enfamil Inspire. I'm going to be talking a little bit more about that later on, but I just want to let you guys know now. Also, I'm always open to hearing your guys' tips and tricks and your advice in the comments down below, so feel free to leave those down below. But kind of going into traveling with a baby, especially under 1 year, is there still taking formula or they're still being nursed. So you could either be pumping, you could be exclusively breastfeeding, or you could be giving formula. So one question I always get asked is, how do you bring formula on a plane? Like, how do you do this? You can actually take ready to feed formula through TSA. You can take powder formula through TSA. You can take breast milk through TSA. I definitely recommend getting your water after you go through the security, because if you're doing powder, you're definitely going to need the water. All you have to do is just take everything out when you get up there and show it to them, and they can either x-ray it or test it. You can tell them if you don't want them to do that, and they can do other things as well to kind of double check, but that will make it a little bit easier for you to travel. I recommend, if you are doing formula, like how we did, is I recommend doing the powder formula, because that's going to be less weight than having to lug around a bunch of ready to feed bottles. And also, if you have a ready to feed bottle, they're usually 8 ounces. And if they're only taking 4 ounces, you're going to have 4 ounces left over that you're going to have to bring an extra cooler with you to make sure that you put that in there. Otherwise, it's going to go bad in an hour. So that's why I recommend doing the powder over the ready to feed, because it will be a lot lighter and a lot easier for you to carry and kind of mess with everything. Plus, you can use these formula dispensers where you can pre-measure all the formula, so it's nice and quick and easy to do. But kind of going into formula, I really want to talk about one formula that worked really well for us the first year of Riley's life, and that is the Enfamil Inspire. I've talked about this formula for a long time on my channel and my Instagram stories over like the course of the first year. We went through so many formulas, and this was like the only one. Like once we got to this one, she didn't want anything else. She only wanted this one. And what I really love about Enfamil Inspire is that this is their closest formula to breast milk, because it has that key protein in it called lactoferrin that is only found in colostrum and breast milk, which is great. And it also has MFGM in it, and also omega-3 DHA, which is great for brain development. Plus, the lactoferrin actually really helps support their immune health too. A lot of great ingredients in it. So if you guys are on the hunt for a formula right now, I definitely recommend checking out Enfamil Inspire, but always keep in mind that every baby is different, but this one worked amazing for us, and she just flourished with it and she thrived with it. So I love it, and thank you so much to Enfamil Inspire for sponsoring a portion of this video. I love working with them. I love sharing our story with it. So I definitely recommend checking them out. I will have that link down below for you guys. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. And so kind of going into the powder formula, it definitely is easier. And plus, when you go and get your water, you can make sure that your water is room temperature. And she was totally fine with room temperature water and room temperature milk. So I would just leave the water bottle out for room temperature. Pour that in first. You always want to pour the water first before the formula. Otherwise, it can mess with the ratio. So you always want to make sure to do water first, formula last. So you do the water with how many ounces that you want. Then make sure to go to the back of the formula thing to see how many scoops you put in there. So you can have all your stuff pre-measured with a formula dispenser, which I will have everything linked down below if you're curious what we used. I love this stuff. So you can just have them all pre-measured. All you do is just open up the little top, pour it in, shake, boom, baby is fed. Super easy. So I definitely recommend doing that to kind of lighten your load when traveling, which is crucial. Oh my gosh, it's so hard not to pack the entire house when you are leaving with a baby, because you're like, I want to be overly prepared, because what if I need something and I don't have it? Because I tried packing up the whole house on our first trip. No bueno. Also, what you can do to lighten your load is get those little disposable inserts that go inside bottles, and they hold the milk in there. So you don't have to worry about cleaning the whole inside of the bottle. You'll just have the nipple to worry about. It can really minimize cleanup. That will be a great way, because you can just pull out the insert, throw it away, and you'll be ready to go again. Just go in and rinse off and kind of clean off the nipple part for them. Another bottle that I really loved was the Popium bottles. They were great. They had a formula dispenser on the top. You guys saw them. I used them religiously. But they have this formula dispenser on the top where you put the formula in, where it's all pre-measured. Then it has the water on the bottom, and they're separate, because remember, once it contaminates with water, it only has an hour. And if they don't finish that bottle, you cannot put it in the fridge. Otherwise, it will just grow bacteria and will get the baby sick. You have to dispose of it completely. Same thing if you're giving them breast milk inside of a bottle. If they don't finish all of it, you need to dispose of it. You cannot let it sit there in the refrigerator for another feed later on, like hours down the line. Otherwise, that bacteria will grow and get them sick. I love the Popium bottles because, again, like I said, they have the formula at the top, and you just hit these little buttons, formula drops down, shake it, boom, ready for the baby. Super, super easy and great. I love them so much. I used them on our driving trip where I just got a big cooler. I had them all sat next to each other, and they all, like, I could fit 6 of them in this cooler, which was great. And I had them all ready to go. So for our driving trip, we were all set. That's all I needed. And it made it so easy and convenient, so I wasn't fiddling around with things. I literally was just going in there, grabbing it out, shake, boom, give it to her. Perfectly great. So I love, love, love those bottles. I'll have those linked down below, but also you can use a formula dispenser to also make things a little bit easier. You can have all your powder formula pre-measured and put into those little compartments, and you just have to put in the water, the amount of ounces that you want, put in the recommended amount of powder, put that in next. Make sure to always put your water in first, otherwise you're gonna mess with the ratio. Put your powder in next, shake it up, give it to the baby. It makes it a lot easier too. Okay, so next up, as you guys know, when you're on a trip, you need to be able to clean the bottles. So I have this great little bottle cleaning system that I found and has made our travels so easy. I love it because when we're in a hotel, I have like a full-on setup and it's just so nice and organized. So it's this thing called from Oxotot. I love Oxotot. They're like one of my favorite baby brands. So it's this on-the-go drying rack. So it folds up and it's like as big as my hand, and it has these little racks on the inside where you could put the bottles and stuff on them so they can dry properly. And then it even has a brush that breaks down and folds inside of it, so it just closes up to be really thin, and you just open it up. I take like a big towel from the hotel, put that underneath it, and I bring this little travel baby Organic soap for bottle soap. It's like really tiny, and that's how I use it to clean her bottles, and it's perfect. It makes our travels so easy and easily for me to clean, and also nice and organized, and I don't have to carry a ton. So I recommend those. Even if you have a toddler and you have to clean like the snack cups, or if you have to clean the sippy cups, that will be awesome. Like, I will continue to have this thing with me for a while. So that is like my biggest recommendation there, because it is so confined and so small and great to travel with, and the brush is awesome too. So I love that little thing. And then also going with the formula, what you also want to make sure is that if you're on a plane flight or if you're on a drive, you always want to make sure you pack a little bit extra than what you need. Let's say they're going to eat every 3 hours and you're like, okay, this plane flight is going to be 5 hours. All right, I need this much formula. Well, you always want to grab maybe an extra 2 feeds as well on top of that to be prepared for any delays. If you have a plane delay, you're screwed. Where am I gonna get formula at? So you wanna make sure you have extra feeds just in case for any unexpected delays or any hiccups that may come down the line. That is one thing that I've always done. And Joel's like, he goes, why do you need to bring up that much? I'm like, because I need this for just as an emergency. If something doesn't go right, we have an extra feed, because this little girl, if she does not get her that bottle, it is World War III, it is meltdown. Not good especially when she was under 1. Definitely make sure to pack extra there. And then a little tip for flying. So if you are going on a long flight, I definitely recommend asking them for a bassinet. You can let them know that you're gonna have a baby with you and get on that list immediately, because you're gonna be fighting over whatever bassinet is available. So definitely ask for a bassinet. That will make your trip a little bit easier. If you have a shorter flight, no matter what, ask for an aisle seat, because an aisle seat is going to help you tremendously, because if you're gonna have to be getting up to walk them around if they get restless, or if you're gonna have to be going and changing their diaper in the lavatory. I used to use a fancy word for a bathroom. So you're gonna have to go change your diaper. So it's easier to kind of get up and go and do that instead of having to climb over people. So always ask for an aisle seat. You know what you can even do is you can ask them when you get there, be like, are there any empty seats available on the plane? And if you didn't have room in your budget to be able to buy an extra seat for the baby, you can see if they have any seats available, and you can ask to be moved by those ones, so that way you can get that extra seat and that extra space for your baby for free. I mean, that's a little harder to get all the time, but it's worth the shot. Another thing to make sure to pack are extra clothes. So you want to make sure you have an extra shirt for you. Same thing with dad, because if dad's going to be helping you out or your partner's going to be helping you out, you want to make sure they have an extra shirt too. Then also make sure you have 1 to 2 extra outfits for your baby depending on their needs. If they spit up a lot, you might want to pack a little bit more. If they have blowouts, definitely make sure to size up on diapers if they have blowouts. Usually when they have a blowout, it means that they need to size up. But anyways, make sure that they have extra outfits just in case if anything happens. That's vital. Also, one question I get a lot is what to do with the baby during takeoff and landing. Because of the pressure going on in the cabin, it can really affect their ears. So if you are breastfeeding, you want to make sure that you breastfeed at takeoff and landing to help with the air and the pressure on their ears. Or if you have a baby that's bottle fed, you want to give them a bottle. If they're not hungry, you can always let them suck on your finger or suck on a passy. That will also help that air leave their ears and not feel so much pressure there. Another thing for you to have is a baby carrier, and make sure to grab a baby carrier that isn't super bulky. It's just nice, thin, lightweight, and easy for them to get in and out of, because that will also give your arms a break if you are carrying them and holding them in your lap on the flight. Baby carrier will save your arms. So I know that was like one big thing that my friend told me. She's like, a baby carrier, like a sling, something nice, easy, was their best option. So they did that. And then also to kind of avoid carrying around a stroller too, so they didn't have to mess with that. It just made it easier for her to carry her baby in a carrier throughout the airport and on their trip to minimize bringing a stroller. So that's definitely one thing there that you can do. But if they're a chunky monkey like my little girl was towards the end, I don't blame you for bringing a stroller. Another big thing is people always ask questions about a car seat. So a car seat is actually the safest way for a baby to travel on a plane. To be able to get their own seat, put them in a car seat. I know that my little girl does so much better in a car seat and a stroller when she's like strapped in. It just calms her down. So that is always a safe way to go. But I know it's not in everyone's budget to be able to pay for that extra seat, especially if you're used to only paying for 2 of you. Now you're paying for 3. It's hefty. So if you don't bring that car seat with you, also know that a lot of rent-a-car places actually have car seats that you can rent, which is amazing. Make sure to let them know that you need a car seat in advance, so that way you can have a car seat for when you drive around. And it makes it so much easier than having to worry about lugging around a car seat with you and checking it in and having the risk of it being damaged, because let's be honest, they don't treat our luggage very nicely. And there are so many times where you see broken strollers, broken car seats, and that would really suck. If you had a broken car seat while you're traveling, you're like, what am I gonna do now? Another thing that I've learned that has been the best is that majority of the hotels out there all have cribs or pack and plays that they'll supply you for the rooms. So you also, when you make all your reservations in advance before leaving, let them know that you have a baby and that you'll need a crib in the room. Some of them even give you bottle warmers. They'll even give you a bathtub for them. Like, I'm telling you, some of these hotels like really hook it up for you, and I am so grateful for that. So definitely call them and let them know in advance and make sure that they have a crib, so that way you don't have to worry about lugging around a pack and play in your car or even having to check one on an airplane. What I do is I actually bring my own crib sheet, so that way it smells like home for her. And I've been at one where they don't even use a crib sheet, they just use regular sheets and wrapped it around the mattress. So I love the fact that I had my own crib sheet, so that way I knew it was safer. So definitely pack your own crib sheet, so that way they also have that familiar smell. I make sure it's not a clean one. I grab the one that she was just recently sleeping with, and it just gives them a familiarity when they're on the go. Another big tip that kind of comes back to packing light for a baby is, you know how those changing pads and everything can get really bulky and start taking up a lot of space in your diaper bag? What you can do is you can actually use a baby swaddle, like those little baby blankets from Aiden and I's, or any type of baby blanket that's nice and thin, and you can use that to lay down and put the baby on top of when you have to change them and stuff, so that way you don't have to lug around something big and clunky, because those swaddles fold down so small and so condensed that it will probably be easier for you to carry that around versus a big mat or something for them. All right, so these next two little tips are for babies that are a little bit older, around 8 months and up, when they're getting mobile and they're eating and they're just all over the place and they don't want to sit still. So usually when they're at that time, like with Riley, honestly, you want to schedule your drives or your plane flights during their nap schedule. You want to do that to help them. I know it's not always going to be the easiest, and sometimes it might cost more money. So if you have room in your budget or your schedule to be able to do that, I recommend doing it, because doing it like a red-eye flight will help you so much more, even though it doesn't guarantee that they're going to sleep during that time, but you have a higher possibility of it, and that will make your flight a little bit easier, especially if they want to just go and move around and don't want to be held. Like, Riley is one that does not like to be held. She wants to go. So definitely recommend scheduling it around those times. And then also what really helps too is that you want to get new toys. You want to get toys that they've never seen before, because it's something about new toys that just infatuates them and keeps their attention for so much longer if they were playing with an older toy that they see every day. So you want to have like a little bag of goodies of new toys that they've never seen. That will keep them interested and engaged, and you just want to pull one out at a time. So it's like kind of like it's your little bag of tricks. So you want to have new toys. That's perfect for fly time or driving. Have new toys, and then also snacks. Snacks are everything. Oh my goodness, that's what saves me. I have the teether crackers for her. That keeps her occupied. Or I have those little puff snacks. I love them because they're so low in calorie that I'm not worried that she's just eating a bunch of stuff. She's just really low in calorie, keeps her distracted and keeps her happy. So snacks are everything. Another bit of advice that I've gotten from other people is that they're anti-screen time, but when they're on a trip, they're like, we allow it because it saves us. So they'll like let the baby look at the phone and like watch little movies on there or videos or play like baby games on there. I'm gonna be honest, it doesn't work for every baby. My little girl could care less about the screen. She's more interested if she's like watching the TV. She's more interested in grabbing the clicker and watching it change and seeing the cause of effect than rather what's actually on the screen. Every baby is different. So she could care less. So I've tried that when she's gotten really fussy in the car, and I'll play like Baby Shark or I'll play like lullabies and stuff. And she'll kind of look at it a little bit and then be like, all right, I'm done with this. So she gets bored really fast with that. She'd rather be holding and touching and moving objects than like watching something. So that doesn't always work, but if it does work for yours, that's always the last resort too. And my last and most important tip is knowing when to call it. And this is where it comes back to me saying, it's so important to know their cues and their limitations, knowing when they're done and understanding that and taking that in and saying, okay, you're done, you're overstimulated, you need a break, let's go back and calm down. So that is the most important thing. I know most people are just like, you can't let a baby control you, but they're a baby. They don't know. They're overstimulated. If you've been traveling with them all day, don't just take them out to dinner right after that, or don't let them skip a nap time and then take them out. Otherwise, you're going to have one very fussy baby. You have to learn to read their cues and knowing to put their needs before your own. And there's many times where Joel and I have done this where I'll coordinate her nap times to make our dinners a little bit easier going. Like there was one night when I knew she didn't really nap very well and he was like, okay, should we go to dinner and stuff? And I was like, you know what? I don't think she's gonna do very well at dinner. She woke up very cranky. I think she's gonna get overstimulated and she's gonna be done and it's gonna make our dinner miserable. So I go, I think it might be best if we just stay home, keep her in her environment, let her calm down, because she was also really fussy because she's got 4 teeth coming down at once right now. So it's just about knowing their cues and knowing their limitations and being realistic with it. I definitely agree in not letting them control your life, but you have to be realistic when having a baby that it's not just about you anymore, and knowing not to push them. And that will let your vacation run a little bit more smoothly. Routine is everything and schedules are everything when it comes to babies. So that's my biggest tip there. And I hope these tips helped you guys. I would love to hear some of yours, especially if you traveled a lot on planes with babies or if you've done really long flights and stuff. I wanna hear all about it. I wanna hear what ages you guys did it at, like what your tips were for like under 1 or over 1, especially over 1. Can you let me know? Because I would really love to know how people do travel with a 1-year-old, because I don't see it being possible for me right now. So I would love to see that, but let me know in the comments down below. I love talking with you guys. Another big thank you to Enfamil for sponsoring a portion of this video. You guys know that how much we love Inspire, and I'm so grateful again to be able to share our story about it. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. Thumbs up if you did, and I will see you all in my next one.